Hi, this is Tim with Cisco's Engineering Licensing Office. Let's go ahead and take a product and register it to a satellite. First, we'll need to log into the satellite, and you'll notice the interface resembles that to the Cisco Smart Software Manager. We have the same primary functions where we can view a license. For example, we have a CSR 50 megabyte AX license. We currently don't have any products that are registered. So let's go ahead and log into a CSR and we'll go through the registration steps together. The CSR router is one that supports either classic pack-based licensing or smart licensing. So by default, you have to turn on smart licensing with the command license smart enable. Once you do that, you'll need to configure call home because by default, even though smart call home is turned on, it's actually pointing to the cloud interface. So we want to redirect this one to the satellite, and we'll do that by changing our call home configuration for the profile Cisco TAC1. So the address that we'll be redirecting this CSR to is the same address that we configured for the satellite, this 172.1976.222 address, and it's followed by the suffix of transport gateway services device request handler. Now I know that's a mouthful, but if you go back to the satellite, there's actually a reminder under the general tab of the full address that you need to redirect to when you're configuring a product to register with the satellite. So the rest of the configuration is similar to what you've seen in other examples. We'll need to first copy the ID token into the clipboard. And then from the product side, we use the command license smart register ID token. And then all we're going to do is take that token ID and paste it directly into the CLI, followed by the enter key. So rather than connecting through the cloud, this CSR will register to our satellite instance. And we can see through the output that's going to come back here on the console that our registration was successful. So now we can do a show license all and quickly determine that we are now registered to the NapLink Smart account and more specifically to the St. Petersburg virtual account. Our status is authorized, and right now we're not using any licenses. That's because we haven't configured this CSR to consume any licenses, and we can do that with the platform hardware throughput level command. Knowing that we want to consume a 50 meg license, we simply set it to 50 megabytes. Then the CSR will go ahead and check into the satellite and consume that license. So once we've done that, the product will go ahead and check in and consume the license. And in just a few seconds, we'll get a response back showing that our state has changed and that we're actually consuming the license that we configured for. Also, because we had a license in the queue, that means we anticipate the status to come back as being authorized. That's because we're consuming a license that we currently possess in the queue, and there's our response. So we can do a show license all and see that right now we're consuming that 50 megabyte AX license and our status is authorized. So now let's go back to the satellite and check what's happened here. We can see we own one license. We currently are using one. Our product instance has checked in. We can see that it's registered. And we can also see now that we're consuming that 50 megabyte license that we configured it for. So this kind of matches what we expected to see. The event log was helpful to see that we created the new token, that we registered a product instance, and that it's connected to the St. Petersburg virtual account. Let's take a look at some of the administrative options that are available in the satellite. For example, adding a new user. Users are actually held locally on the satellite. So when adding a new user, you'll need to give a username and their full name so you can identify them properly, as well as a password that you'll have to re-enter. This does not use your cisco.com user ID, in other words. If you're interested in knowing when there are upgrades available for the satellite, simply click on the Upgrade tab and then ask your satellite to check for updates. As an example here, we can see that version 2.3.2 is now available, and I can choose to do a manual upgrade if I'd like to. The Network tab is helpful for understanding your current settings And also there's this new feature that was added lately with some network diagnostics. For example, I can choose to do a ping to cisco.com and it would log the results in our window here. There's also a function that allows you to do a trace route and it will record the entire path for you to scroll through. Now, under the System Settings tab, there's a new feature that was added here that allows you to do custom headers and footers. For example, if I wanted to put a header at the very top and bottom, I can choose that, indicate my text as well as the color, and then after clicking on Save, they'll appear. If you're doing any troubleshooting, you may be asked to record some diagnostic logs, and there's a feature that allows you to generate a zip file. The Reports tab is very consistent with what you've seen on Smart Software Manager. You can run a license report or even product instance reports. You can also change the frequency of your synchronization, the time that it happens, or even the date. If you choose, you can also elect to omit details like host names, IP addresses, and MAC addresses. Okay, so that's your quick tour on doing product registration with the Cisco Smart Software Manager satellite, as well as an overview of the features that are available to you.